This is my view at the moment. Last day of holiday. Pretty cool. Got one daughter in the sea there, one daughter in the sea there. And I'm gonna go and do some cardio and have a bit of a chat with you guys. Okay. Just leaving the kids in the sea. Wife's just gone back to the hotel to wash her hair. So I'm just doing a bit of early evening cardio, stimulate the appetite for our evening meal. It's our last night of the holiday. So feeling a bit sad, but I thought I'd film a bit of a YouTube video for you guys. Recently just hit 1,000 subs, which is absolutely fantastic. But having just reached 1,000 subs, it made me think. Last time I did one of these types of videos was actually when I just reached 500 subs. And it's just a kind of quick reintroduction to me and like who I am and all of that kind of stuff. So if you haven't figured this out already, my name actually is Mark, not Red Hulk. I wasn't christened Red Hulk. I'm an old man. I'm 46, coming 47 years of age. I'm a husband, dad with 2 daughters. My oldest one is 13 and my youngest one is 10. You've probably seen them on the channel before, both little monsters. I'm, by profession, I'm actually a teacher. I'm a primary school teacher. So in the UK, primary school is from the age of 4 up to the age of 11. I'm currently working with 9 and 10-year-olds. Have done for the last couple of years. But I've been a primary school teacher for almost 20 years now. So quite a long time. Also a personal trainer. My wife and I have got a personal training business. So if you're looking for any good personal trainers, hit us up, DM us. I do online coaching as well and do training programs and things like that. Now, as far as lifting is concerned, I've been around the game for quite a while. I started training back in 1995 when I was around 16 years of age. I have tried pretty much every training system that is under the sun. You name it, I've tried it. When I first went to the gym, my goal was basically to be the biggest, strongest guy in the gym, just like everyone else. Because in the 1990s in England, there were no commercial gyms. They were all privately owned facilities. There were no chains of gyms or anything like that. And they're normally family-run businesses. Mine was a great gym called Total Fitness, which was basically on an industrial estate. And it was just full of big, strong, rough, tough men. Lots of bouncers, lots of doormen, lots of shady characters, but lots of good guys, and everyone in there was basically, we all had the universal goal of being the biggest, strongest version of ourselves we could be. Now, over the last few years, commercial gyms have kind of taken over, and it is a shame that we have seen a bit of the death of the privately owned gym. Now, even though I'm using social media at the moment to get to speak to you guys, I also think social media has had a really good impact on gyms and gym culture, but it also has had a couple of negative impacts as well. And a lot of time, the beauty of training is lost for the sake of likes and clicks and views and things. My channel is a pretty simple channel, and hopefully when you see me and interact with me and whatever, I come across, I'm authentic. Oh, I try to be authentic anyway. I genuinely love lifting. Lifting has done a tremendous amount for me. over the years and kept me on the straight and narrow, and kept me out of a lot of trouble and got me through a lot of tough times. Now, I'm not saying I've had the hardest life in the world by any means, but we all have things that happen to us. And training has always been that one constant in my life for almost 31 years now. No matter whatever's gone on, no matter what nonsense has gone on in my life, training has always been there to get me through. Having that quick hour and a half can really change your day and turn your frown upside down, as I say. Now, how did I get started? I was a very big, strong kid. I come from a very big, strong family. I've got one brother, but I've got a very big extended family. My father was one of 9. Most of his siblings had a lot of kids. So I've actually got over 70, yes, 70, over 70 first cousins. Genetically, I was pretty blessed. Just, my father was a massive bear of a man. He was about 6'2", and what would he be in kilos? He was probably about 140 kilos, something like that. Very big guy. A lot of that was belly, but a lot of that was just raw meat. He was just a big, strong man. He was a mechanic and a galvanizer by trade, and he was just, you know what you say, like farm boy strength, but it was just like working man strong, you know, like construction worker strong. And like as a kid, he had his own garage, and like going down there and seeing him like picking up girders and car engines, and I'm not exaggerating when I say he'd literally be able to pick up and move car engines and move with them. Has a big influence and a big impact on you as a young man. So I've just turned around. Now, he also, he didn't train, but a lot of my uncles did. And they were very big, strong, powerful men, very notorious around the Birmingham area, the Atkinson family, just for being big, strong, rough, tough guys. And again, when you grow up around that, and the best way my uncles can be described is like Rasta Vikings. They were just like a Rasta and a Viking had a baby and made my uncles. And again, they were just big, strong, tough men who went to the gym. A number of them were able to bench 5 plates or more, and they were just monstrously strong. So, you know, growing up, I was born in the 70s, grew up in the 1980s, and you just have all these kind of influences around you, coupled with Arnold, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Sylvester Stallone, Dolph Lundgren, all these guys. It just made me want to be big and strong and grow muscles. Although I have to say, my priority as a kid going to the gym was being strong. I wanted muscles, of course, but muscles kind of came as a byproduct of good training and strength, getting stronger. A stronger muscle tends to be a bigger muscle, is what I've always found. So yeah, I just got into the gym and fell in love with it straight away. And I've had this like sort of love affair with the gym ever since for the last 30 years. I have never, ever had more than 7 days off consecutively in over 30 years. Genuinely, I've never had any time off more than that. And that was literally me on holiday many years ago. And there were no gym facilities. So me and my wife just did a load of walking. But the hotel hadn't got a gym, and there was nothing I could do. So 7 days off in 30 consecutive years is not too bad, to say the least. Now, when it came to the actual training itself, I have tried pretty much every system there is known to man. Very first training split I recall was chest and biceps, back and triceps, shoulders and abs and legs, from what I recall. We are going back 30 years. Again, I was very, very lucky. I trained at the gym by myself for about the first 2 weeks, and then I had a group of older guys take me under their wing and kind of show me the ropes, and I trained with them. A guy called Wizzy, who was a Rasta, his brethren called Louis. There was another guy called Charlie Brown as well, and the three of them just took me under their wing and showed me the ropes, and it was really good. And as is every rites of passage, they used me as their plaything for the first month or so, because it's, fun to beat up on the kid, whatever. But what actually happened is they found out I got very strong very quickly, and it wasn't very long before I could keep up. And these guys were considerably older than me. They were, the youngest one of them was 38 and I was 16. But to put it in context, I was made to be strong. I responded very quickly. The very first time I ever bench pressed 60 kilos. Now, I'm not saying it was brilliant, but that was the very first time I ever bench pressed. I bench pressed like a plate. The strength was there, I just had the wobbles. Because I'm sure we can all remember our first time in the gym, and you don't have any stabilizer muscles. You might have the raw strength, but you have no stabilizer muscles. So yeah, I benched 60 kilos within a month. I could bench about 100 kilos, and by the end of the year, I was hitting about 140 kilos. Now, I'm not going to pretend that 140 kilos was pretty. And I'll go on to all the dumb mistakes I've made over the years, but it was a sight to behold, because I was the original ego lifter. I've said this to you guys before, if you've seen my channel before, and I made lots of dumb mistakes. So I used to dive bomb stuff off my chest and bounce it off and got it back up, but it was 140 kilos. So just to give you an idea of what my strength was like when I first started. I was born to be reasonably strong, and I said I can thank my my genetics for that. I suppose you can also thank work ethic and a lot of dedication, but I was designed to be quite strong. Now, after a year or so, I was taken in by a big guy called Phil Hughes, and he was the king of the gym. And then it was, again, training with him was like starting again, because he was the biggest, strongest guy in the gym. But he saw a bit of potential in me. But he saw me, I just admired him, and I think he saw me as a challenger. And he then proceeded to whoop me for about the first 2 years of us training together. He took great pleasure in whooping me, but because of my weird psyche, I took great pleasure in taking that beating, but kind of coming back and adapting and growing. But no matter whatever happened, I would just keep on going back. I'd keep on going back for more, because I loved training and I just wanted to learn. I just loved learning about training, loved the experience of training. And no matter what DOMs I got, it was never enough. I couldn't stop it. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Now, life happens, and as much as I loved training with him, we kind of went our separate ways. We were still good friends afterwards, but life happens, work happens, family happens, and our just schedules didn't meet. But that was when I really, really started to blossom, because I trained with Phil for about 6 years, and I followed his routines, and he absolutely showed me the meaning of training, and like the mentality of training and how dedicated you have to be. And no matter what's going on in your life, you just have to turn up and do what you need to do. and then put all the nonsense from the outside world aside, get your work done, and then think about that nonsense afterwards. And I learned a tremendous amount from him, and was very, very, very grateful to him for that. Let alone, just learning the ropes from him, how to do all these sorts of exercises and things. The only thing is, in those days, you learned the internet wasn't really a thing in the UK. It was in its infancy. I didn't actually have access to the internet at home until probably about 2002, something like that, 2003. So I spent the first 6-7 years without really using the internet ever. I had access to it at university, but I didn't really need to use it, and it never captivated me. So the way I learned was just reading. I read and read and read, and I watched videos, I watched DVDs, and there's also nothing like just watching in real life. I learned from big guys down the gym, and that has its pluses, it has its minuses. If you've got good people around you, they can really show you the ropes. Equally, you can pick up a few errors and a few mistakes. Over the years, I've said to you guys, I've picked up a lot of injuries, blown my disc out several times. I've got permanent sciatica and a bulging disc, tore my pec, tore my rotary cuff, tore my calf, broken so many fingers and toes I can't even begin to tell you. You get the idea. I've had most injuries you'd ever want to have. I've had minor tear in my hamstring before, had a minor tear in my lat before, a couple of times actually, had a tear in my rear delt. The list goes on and on. But, it never kept me out of the gym. I was on a crutches for, how many months? 4 months. And in a cast when I tore my calf. That was surprising. That was one injury I got not in the gym. I got that pushing my mum's car, but that's another story. But I literally only had 3 days off from the gym because I love the gym. And it would have been far more painful to me not training than training with a cast and crutches. So the point I'm making is, when you are in the gym, give back to people, teach people around you, show people the ropes. I had some great guys show me the ropes, and pass on the love, pass it on, because once upon a time you were a newbie in the gym, and don't ever forget that. We were all a newbie once in the gym. We were all nervous to go in the gym. We were all intimidated by people going into the gym for the first time, thinking that everyone is looking at us or whatever. Don't be afraid to, if you see someone doing something that looks like they're going to hurt themselves or whatever, I'm not saying go and be that guy and run over and interrupt their workout. Sometimes just a word, you know what, mate, that looks good, but maybe try doing it this way, or this is how I do it and I found it works quite well for me, maybe give it a try. Something like that. No harm in that. Say a kind word to someone. Say something nice to someone. You don't know what people are going through. And you simply turning around and saying, you know what, mate, you're looking great, or I can see you're working hard, or damn, big muscles, or whatever. You get the point. Do that. It can really make a difference to someone's day. You don't know what people are going through. Like, you genuinely don't. I was having a really nice conversation with someone recently, Paul Leonard. Paul, you guys heard me plug his channel recently. I was having a nice conversation, and we were talking about giving back. It just can make such a difference. Being nice to someone, it's going to make you feel better about yourself. It's going to make other people feel better about themselves. There was a young man many years ago who, and I think he watches this channel now. I'm not going to name names, but I think he actually does watch this channel. And he bumped into my wife relatively recently, I think my wife said he's now in his 30s, and I kind of helped him out a little bit in the gym when he was about 14-ish years of age. He was young, and I just remember this young man looking a little timid, because my gym was full of pretty big, rough characters, to be honest with you. And I remember seeing him down there a couple of times, and feeling for him a little bit, because he just looked a bit intimidated. And I was probably the biggest person in the gym. And I got him to jump in with me a couple of times, and showed him around the gym, and gave him a few workout tips and a couple of workout routines and things. But my wife bumped into him relatively recently, except now he's probably in his 30s. I told you I'm an old man. And he just was basically telling her to say thank you, about how much I helped him, and he's going through a bit of a tough time in his life. I didn't really think about it too much at the time. I wasn't doing it like that. I was just thinking that's just what decent human beings should do. But I didn't actually appreciate the young man was going through a tough time at school and stuff like that, and putting a bit of muscle on him and giving him a bit of physical self-confidence really helped him out, apparently. And that was no skin off my nose. So it's really important that you try and do that for other people as well. Give back to other people. The whole idea of this channel, if you are new to it, I know I'm not a super popular channel. I've got 1,000 subs, been pushing the channel for about a year now, which is really cool for me. But as fitness channels go, I'm a little minnow in a very big pond. And the whole idea of this channel is building a positive community. Lifting is brilliant. Lifting is amazing. And I think sometimes the fitness community just forgets what it was all about. And we now get bogged down with drama and nonsense. And this is what gets clicks and views. Guys talking about other guys and belittling other people and laughing at, whatever, because they don't lift with conventional form or whatever. Who cares? Are they in the gym? Are they working pretty hard? Who cares? Yeah. As my mum used to say, if you haven't got anything nice to say, don't say anything. So the idea of my channel is it's about being positive. There's a few of us on here, but we're a nice little community. So if you are new to this channel, welcome. I don't do drama. I don't do nonsense. We lift. We talk about lifting, and we talk about the greatness of lifting and the love of lifting. And on that note, I'm going to leave it there. So this was just a quick one. But if you guys got any questions, any inquiries, do not hesitate to ask me anything you want to. Training tips, whatever. I do my best to respond. Right, thank you very much to everyone. 1K subs, whoop, whoop, whoop. We're getting there. So my cardio is now pretty much done. I'm going to go back, freshen up, and get even more food. So I'm really going to enjoy this all-you-can-eat, all-inclusive buffet. And you can see my kids are finished in the seat. So, on that note, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit notifications and all that good stuff. You guys take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Pretty cool. And there's two daughters.